What's going on, everyone? Rabid here. Please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, as well as bell notification to be notified for future videos. Now today we are adding 2 more dedicated CPU mining rigs to this top shelf here. We already have 3 here. Rig 3 over there is plotting Chia. We can see our Chia plotting happening right there. It's a little bit blurry and it just shut off, so whatever. So we are putting 2 more dedicated CPU mining rigs here. Hopefully early next week we'll have 3 here, so we will have 6 total dedicated CPU mining rigs. We do have to build one. You can see all the pieces right here, motherboard there, and of course our CPU right here. Our test bench version is already put together. I have been testing Raptoreum on it, and my parents are showing up, so I'm going to go put this on the rack. And then when my 5950X does show up, I will be taking the 3900X out of the workstation PC and building our 6th dedicated CPU mining rig, and I will be finishing up the test with CL16 RAM. I've done everything for Raptoreum but the CL14 RAM, and the tests are quite interesting, and you're going to need to see that video, guys. We do have one issue. Once we do get this rig put together, we do not have a GPU for it, so we are going to have to pull probably a 3060 Ti out of our dedicated GPU rig in here. So we have 4 or 5 3060 Ti's, if you guys can see in there. And then we got some AMD cards up top here, 5700 XTs, 5600 XT, as well as a 470 and 580. So we are going to have to pull a NVIDIA's 3000 series out of that bottom rack there in order to get that CPU mining Ryzen 3000 series CPU rig to boot, because it does require a GPU. So I threw this little TV up top so I can monitor everything. A lot of people like to just watch their hash rate and whatnot through the mining software. I threw everything up at the pool. That way I can watch any single thing I have going at the same time. So here I got HiveOS. You can see everything right here. It will have obviously 2 more CPU mining rigs when done up there. It doesn't really want to focus. Here we got our flex pool, our mining our Ethereum. You can see our current hash rate right there. Here's our Chia mining on flex pool. If it will focus, there we go. So we got everything going on there, what we're making. This is all our CPU mining rigs. It doesn't like to focus there either. So you can see our daily payouts and whatnot. We're getting about 6,000 RTM per day. So I can see my RTM, my CPU mining here. That's the Antminer L3 Plus on pro hashing there. Everything is in HiveOS, so I can also obviously keep an eye on everything there, and I can see all my reported pool stats and everything all from one screen instead of just checking out hash rate numbers going through, because those really aren't that important. Pretty much what that software will say is exactly what your pool is reporting, so you can see everything this way. I find this is a better way to monitor your rigs, and then it just shut off again. You do have to hit the mouse because it's set off to turn off fast, because it will start reducing your hash rate if it's on for too long. So anyway, that's how I'm kind of running this little operation now. Now before anybody does say anything, I know you're going to be saying, yo, CPU mining isn't that profitable. Why don't you just get GPUs? It costs more. Well, to build one of these 3900X rigs, it's about the same as a 3060 Ti GPU itself and cheaper than a 3070, but profitability wise, it is about the same as a 3070 mining, probably about $1 per day less, but it also uses a lot less power. One of these rigs mining Raptoreum and stuff is only like 95 watts, so it's pretty insane how good these CPUs actually are, and they're making about the same profits as a 3070. Now when the merge does come into play, GPUs are drastically going to lose profitability, like Veruscoin for example. I'm working on a video on that, but pretty much when the halving hits, the merge hits with a 5 times hash rate boost, a 3080 is going to be losing 6 cents per day, and that's only out of 5 times, and there's about 16 times the hash rate is going to hit Veruscoin. So it's pretty insane how much GPU mining will change, and I really do think CPU mining could become more profitable than GPU mining currently is. So it's going to be pretty insane. So the first thing I do here is I take this empty motherboard and I just kind of placed all the standoffs where I am going to need them. That way I can just pull this off, bring that test bench in and just set it down, and hopefully everything does line up. Again, they're the exact same motherboard, so it should have no issues whatsoever. And again, these are 3D printed specifically, so they will fit here all nice. Okay, so this one is all set, ready to roll, hooked up. All I gotta do is turn it on, but I'm not gonna turn it on till the other one is ready as well. I know I got a bunch of shadows going on because I don't have my lights here with me right now, but that's okay, we'll pull through. But yeah, so this one's all ready to go. Also, because we are using HiveOS, you got to remember set all your overclock settings in the BIOS for the CPU, because you cannot do that in HiveOS. So this one is all set, ready to roll. I'm going to put the other one together on the standoffs right here. I'll have to hook a monitor, mouse, and keyboard to it, and then again set all those settings up in the BIOS, turn them both on, tune them up for Raptoreum, and we are off to the races. So we had a little change of plans. My parents are not coming out this weekend, so I threw this back on the test bench, put in my CL16 RAM from my workstation. So now I am doing my test with 2 sticks and 1 stick with XMP profile off and on to see how well this does perform on Raptoreum and how much Raptoreum we will mine in 24 hours. We will compare that to CL14 to see what is better and if CL14 is worth that price. With that being said, instead of throwing up 2 CPU mining rigs here, we are going to build this one out. I left that power supply and all the pegs here, so I'm just going to build everything as is right there and then slide it over and engage this thing and get it mining. Here is our CPU, and yes, it is used. That way we do find our parts cheaper. Now this thing needs a little bit of TLC and then I'll get this thing thrown inside. But I just wanted to show you what this CPU is kind of looking like when you buy it used and possibilities of conditions that they can show up in. So it looks like, at least on the cooler side, once I did get that CPU cleaned up and I put it on, well, we can see it right there. So I went and pulled out the cooler here, and they did not use their past stock cooler because this is still the pre-applied thermal paste and it looks perfectly sweet. But they did not send back the RGB lighting cables that is supposed to come with it. But that's okay, we don't need them. We just plug in the default fan cable, and yeah, that's the default 4-pin fan cable, and it does have its own set of lights by default, just kind of rainbows through it all, so it's not too bad. But I'm going to wipe this up again. We're going to use our own thermal paste, and then I'm going to put this on top. Okay, so we are all set here. I got a 3060 Ti, my Zotac gaming one. I pulled it out of the GPU mining rig down there, and we got to remember we're going in HiveOS, so I do have to change my overclock settings to 3.6 all-core on the CPU in the BIOS. But again, new motherboard, you are going to need your power switch at first. So boom, and we are live. Look at that, ready to roll. We should be booting up the HiveOS up here right quick. Okay, so it's pretty dark. Hopefully you can see this. So every motherboard is different, but to boot up here, I'm just going to go into settings. And now advanced here, and you are going to want to scroll down to power management. This is an MSI motherboard. And then you can see restore after AC power loss is power off. We are going to have to switch that to power on. That way you no longer need your power button, or power switch, I guess, to turn this on. That way when you turn your motherboard power supply button off or on, or you lose power or something, it will automatically turn on once the power is restored. Here we are in our OC settings. Now here you can see per CCX ratio, there's 0101. There's 2 banks there, the CCD0 and CCD1. I'm changing everything to 3.6. That way it is an all-core overclock. Hopefully this focuses. So there you can see I'm scrolling down, and there is 36.0. Depending on your motherboard, it could be 3.6, it could be 360, it could be 36.00. Like you see here, every motherboard brand does have their numbers based off times 10, times 100, or times 1000. They're all different. And just before we save it, you can see everything we did change. So restore after AC power loss is turned on now. We got our CPU cores all turned to 3.6 gigahertz all core, and we changed our voltage down to 1 volt. So we are all set. This will boot up every time now in HiveOS, so we can begin starting our miner. Okay, so we are up and running. We're mining away Raptoreum on rig 4 now. I'm just gonna bring up my screen, hit my mouse here, and it should pop up. So here we can see in HiveOS we do have 4 rigs online, and here is rig 4 running away at 2.61 kilohash as an average hash rate. So we're up and running. Everything is looking pretty good. Now we are only sitting at 555.5 mega hash. That's my reported mega hash to flex pool. I'm almost at the, well, I'm actually not even almost, I'm halfway to the 1 gigahash club, but I cannot find any GPUs anywhere in Canada. So I don't know if any of you guys have any non-LHR GPUs that you may want to sell. Let me know, because I definitely need them, but I'm sure you guys need them as well. But hey, you know what? It's worth trying. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that thumbs up, subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Rabid out. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you haven't, please comment, subscribe, and like this video, as well as check out one of these other videos if you have not seen it yet. I do try to stream every Saturday and Sunday, so stay tuned for more future content.